As Arsenal approach their final 3 games of the season, the battle for the Premier League title is getting serious. But does Mikel Arteta have a problem? Well, today we'll get the breaking news from David Ornstein, find out about Arsenal's new agreement from Fabrizio Romano, as well as discussing a potential £50 million defensive signing. We'll also find out how Mikel Arteta will line up in our must-win game against Brighton. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Babs14. Welcome back to your boys channel. I hope you guys are doing sensational as we approach the finale of the season. 2 weeks left, the end is nearly here. But as per, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new, and do help your boy on his road to 200,000 subscribers. But starting off with the breaking Arsenal news. Arsenal are now entering the most important part of their season. These last few games could be defining, and we are now at the stage of the season where availability of our players is vitally important. And on the positive side, after 3 months on the sideline, an Arsenal midfielder is set to make his return, as Arsenal confirmed that Mohamed Elneny is back on the training pitch, as he has taken a significant step to return into action on the training ground and running for the first time since January. Now, just before Elneny got injured, let's not forget, he signed a 1-year Arsenal contract extension. Even though it was on a lower salary, Elneny was more than happy to extend. But now Arsenal have a bit of a dilemma, having signed Jorginho alongside Thomas Partey. As reliable as Mohamed Elneny has been, is there space for him in this Arsenal first team squad? Do Arsenal have too many number 6s? And if Arsenal do end up signing another number 6 in the market, there is going to be a clear and obvious overload, and Arsenal are going to have to make a choice. Someone is going to have to go. We've also got a David Ornstein dagger, and this one, Arsenal fans, is not positive, as he reveals Arsenal defenders William Saliba and Alexander Zinchenko are out for the rest of the season. Saliba has not recovered sufficiently from a back injury, and Zinchenko picked up a calf problem against Newcastle. The better news is that neither is expected to require surgery. Now Mikel Arteta might have a few problems. William Saliba's first season at Arsenal is over, and what a first season it has been in Premier League football. At 21 years of age, he has revolutionised the way Arsenal play, allowing us to play a higher line, dominate games, sustain pressure. It's no surprise to hear that he's a nominee for the Premier League Team of the Season. And what a career this guy is having so far. Last year in the Liga Team of the Season, the year before he was on a shortlist. There was so much hype going into his Arsenal career, but somehow in some way Saliba's lived up. He might have had a few shaky moments, but in the grand scheme of things, this guy's potential is looking scary. This is only his first year, he is only getting warmed up. And if I was to give it a rating out of 10, Saliba's getting a solid 9 out of 10. But the Zinchenko news was certainly a surprise. Even though he was taken off against Newcastle, no one saw an injury. The concern here is Zinchenko has had calf problems in the past. And what's even more painful is the fact that we have to accept that we are not going to see our strongest team at least until the start of next season. The hype this team had going into the season, so many things were expected. This team here won 6 out of 6 games. They beat the likes of Spurs at home, Chelsea away. The maddest thing is that we have not seen this team since November the 12th. That was before the World Cup. And the reality is there is a myth going around that Arsenal have always had the first team players available, and that is just simply not true. In fact, over the course of the entire season, 7 first team squad players have missed 10 or more games for injury, from Gabriel Jesus, Reece Nelson, William Saliba, Alexander Zinchenko, Takahiro Tomiyasu, Mohamed Elneny, and Emil Smith-Rowe. Now Mikel Arteta will have to adapt one more time, and without Zinchenko, it is going to be a massive blow. And all you have to see is his overall stats radar to understand his overall level of quality. He might start as a fullback, but this guy's a midfielder, and it's not a surprise to hear that he was the highest Arsenal player in terms of progressive passes per 90, final third entries, and the XG build-up per 90. One of the key reasons why Arsenal have been so good this year is our ability to get the ball into that final third and to our dangerous players. And there's very few players in the entire world that have the profile to be as comfortable playing in these midfield areas as Zinchenko. Zinchenko is not perfect, and defensively at times he can be a liability. The context is also very important, and the fact that he came to Arsenal and he's elevated us to a title charge. This guy has been a level raiser. Now this gives a massive opportunity to Kieran Tierney. Despite making 24 appearances, he's only made 5 league starts all season. He's not the same profile as Zinchenko, but in his own right he's just as good, as a natural fullback able to hold the width. And here's the irony, without Zinchenko in the team and Kieran Tierney, Arsenal have a slightly higher goals per game, slightly less goals against, create a higher expected goals, have less XG against, but have less field tilt, less final third entries, and entries into the box. Zinchenko is important, but Tierney is no slouch. This is a Premier League starting fullback, and there's a reason why the likes of Newcastle and Aston Villa want to sign him. These next few games for Kieran Tierney, if he can stay fit and available, could be make or break, even though there's so many reports linking him with a move away. But now he has the prime opportunity to remind Mikel Arteta of his overall quality. Tierney's going to have to adapt, but likewise Mikel Arteta. When you force him to play as an inverted fullback, for me, you're minimizing his strengths. So now Mikel Arteta has to find somewhat of a solution, a way to balance the left-hand side, whether that's dropping Granit Xhaka a little bit deeper, moving Martinelli a bit more centrally, and allowing Tierney to play where he excels the most. Do you guys believe in Kieran Tierney to step up? Now let's move on to Mikel Arteta's vision. Arsenal's team this year has fought for a title against all the odds. At the start of the year, people said that Arsenal wouldn't even make top 4, but we have gone toe-to-toe with Man City, a team full of robots, experienced winners, potentially about to reach a Champions League final. The craziest part is that Arsenal are only in phase 3 out of phase 5. Arsenal are now about to enter phase 4. This is the moment to go all in. And according to Ben Jacobs, Arsenal will be quite busy this summer. In some ways, if they fail to win the Premier League, it might make them even more aggressive in the market. Mikel Arteta will have a real sense of what he needs to challenge again next season and consolidate Arsenal's top 4 position. This next transfer window is massive for the Arsenal owners. In the 6 years without Champions League football, these guys have been investing. They've backed Mikel Arteta on a consistent basis, but fans will still be a little bit skeptical because they won't forget the Arsene Wenger era, where the owners weren't as proactive. They never gave Arsene Wenger the money to go and compete and fight for big trophies, and that's why we fell out of the top 4. This time round, things have to be different. There are new projects every single year and other teams are going to get stronger. And if you're trying to fight with Man City, who have almost a complete team with one of the all-time great managers, not only are Arsenal going to have to spend money, but they're also going to have to be wise. And that's where you might have Man City loanee Joao Cancelo, currently on loan to Bayern Munich with an option to buy. Despite making 9 starts, it looks like Bayern won't exercise their option. And according to Graham Bailey, Cancelo is unlikely to be reintegrated into the Man City first team next season, with several of Europe's top sides, including Arsenal, interested in taking him off their hands. At 28 years of age, the class and quality of Cancelo is undeniable. This guy is almost the original inverted fullback, the reason why Zinchenko wasn't starting at Man City in the first place. Cancelo is the definition of versatility. Have a look at this guy's heat map for Bayern Munich. As equal as it is on the left hand side as it is on the right, he is in the peak of his powers, he has a vast amount of experience, and he would still be at Man City if it wasn't for a disagreement with Pep Guardiola. His numbers for Man City were definitely very promising. 7 assists in total and 8 big chances created. If this guy is available, you can see why Mikel Arteta would want him. As Graham Bailey says, Arsenal are keen on Cancelo. Mikel Arteta briefly worked alongside him during their respective times in Man City, and Arteta believes the player could slot nicely into his side's current tactical setup. Cancelo would give Arsenal different ways to tactically evolve. If Mikel Arteta wants to go full inverted, you can play both Cancelo and Zinchenko, but he could also be Zinchenko's direct competition, and some people believe he could even play in midfield. I do not believe he'd be that expensive, but the one concern that Arsenal would have, defensively just like Zinchenko, with this guy being an attacking fullback, his defensive game is not the best. But you also have to consider Man City, and would they want to sell Cancelo to Arsenal? Having seen the impact of Zinchenko and Jesus help elevate Arsenal into direct rivals, would they let Cancelo go to their most direct rivals? What do you guys think? And if Joao Cancelo was available, would you take him at the Emirates Stadium? Arsenal also like Mark Guehi of Crystal Palace, and at 22 years of age, a right centre back with a bagload of speed. In many ways, he's the perfect profile. But here's the problem that Arsenal are going to have. As Sammy Mockbell confirms, Crystal Palace will demand at least £50 million for Mark Guehi. Chelsea hold a 20% sell-on clause for the player. Arsenal are monitoring his situation. Mark Guehi would be a great backup to William Saliba, but do you spend £50 million? Now, for his age profile, he would have room to grow. This would be a long-term investment. But the real question here is, where are Arsenal better off investing in? In a brand new right back or a brand new centre back? Because I don't see Arsenal signing both profiles. I personally believe a right back might be the better option, because when you have the versatile profiles of Ben White, Tomiyasu, by signing a more natural attacking right back, you're adding profiles to the team and allowing the likes of Ben White to move to centre back if there is any sort of injuries. There's also been a massive move in the midfield market, and for that we have to go to Madrid, as Fabrizio Romano confirms that Real Madrid are close to completing a deal to sign Jude Bellingham. Negotiations are progressing to the final stages, personal terms are almost agreed, and a new meeting has been scheduled to complete an agreement with Borussia Dortmund. This move here will be game-changing in the midfield market. Bellingham was a man in demand, the likes of Liverpool and Man City holding interest. If they can't sign Jude, they're going to go for other targets, which might coincide with Arsenal's. and that's where you have Alexis McAllister. As reports in Argentina confirm, Liverpool are preparing a formal offer to Brighton for Alexis McAllister. Anfield is currently the most likely destination for the midfielder. Not only is that a blow for Arsenal as that's one of their targets, but it also means the likes of Declan Rice and Moses Caicedo may also attract the interest of Man City. And in the case of Moses Caicedo, his agent has been speaking, and he says in an exclusive interview, Arsenal is a great team for everyone. Let's see what happens in the summer. It only adds fuel to the fire, and in the case of Caicedo, there has recently been a tactical innovation. Despite thriving for Brighton playing as a number 6, in the past few games Roberto De Zerbi has transformed him into an inverted right back. In a 1-0 victory over Man United, he put in a stand-up performance, with 2 block shots, 2 interceptions, 2 tackles, 3 ground duels won, and 50 passes completed. Mikel Arteta has tried similar with Thomas Partey. It's clearly an idea that he also shares. All this is doing is adding to the value of Moses Caicedo, and according to Graham Bailey, Brighton will consider offers for Moses Caicedo this summer. The figure with the Seagulls will begin to consider approaches is £80 million. The price tag in the midfield market is broken, and when you've got the reported £100 million price tag on Declan Rice, if it's 80 for Caicedo, who would be a better value for money signing? Now let's go to La Liga and specifically Bilbao, where according to Simon Jones, Arsenal have been following Nico Williams. 20 years of age, a Spanish international with already 7 caps. This guy is certainly highly rated. At 20 years of age, he's having his breakthrough year. With 6 goals and 4 assists, the numbers aren't too impressive, but the potential certainly is. Now this guy is a right winger, and that is an area where Arsenal are looking at. And he might be right footed, but don't be fooled. This guy is just as comfortable on his left foot, and 50% of his goals have been scored on his weaker foot. Averaging 2.4 dribbles per game, this guy has the 1v1 ability. He's also got the creativity, and he ranks second to only Vinicius Jr. in terms of most key passes in La Liga for players under the age of 23. He's only going to have 1 year left on his contract this summer. This may just be an opportunity. But talking of opportunities, there's one also in Paris, and that is of Neymar Jr. of Paris Saint-Germain, who Julien Laurent confirms Neymar is ready to leave PSG this summer. He has changed his mind in recent weeks. He would prefer a move to the Premier League. The fans in PSG have gone crazy, protesting outside Neymar's house. These guys want him gone. 31 years of age, out of contract in 2025, we all know about this guy's quality. And prior to getting a season-ending injury, Neymar was having quite a season. 18 goals and 17 assists. There's no denying this guy is a superstar. He is world class. But he also comes with baggage. There is a reason why PSG fans have had enough. Antics off the pitch and on the pitch, this guy certainly has an ego, and that's where even though Arsenal would be able to attract him, he doesn't strike me as a Mikel Arteta type of player. Neymar for me has Todd Bowley and Chelsea written all over him, but as he is going to be available. But do you guys believe that Neymar would fit at the Emirates Stadium? Moving on to the other Arsenal news today, and starting off with 2 massive agreements of 2 new deals, as Fabrizio Romano confirms that Bukayo Saka will sign a new contract soon, and it's only a matter of time. It was agreed 2 months ago. It's now been sealed and it's no changes. The new deal will be valid until June 2028, and the Arsenal announcement is expected soon. This has been a long time coming. Saka is about to get a massive contract, and with us returning to the Champions League, we need to retain our superstars. We've already secured the future of Gabriel Martinelli. Arsenal are learning from their previous mistakes. These guys are being proactive, and the agreements don't stop there. Fabrizio Romano also confirms that Arsenal will complete and soon announce the contract extension of Aaron Ramsdale. A new deal has been agreed with an improved salary, and Ramsdale has accepted the proposal. With a Saka announcement soon expected, talks are still ongoing with William Saliba. Arsenal are locking up their first team core. They're trying to ensure that as we return to the Champions League, these guys stay, and now all the eyes turn to William Saliba. Stat time of the day: Gabriel Martinelli and Martin Odegaard have become the first 2 Arsenal players to have scored 15 plus goals in the same season in the Premier League for the first time. These 2 guys have been on fire, 2 of our players of the season, and they've also formed quite a bit of a partnership. Time and time again, we've seen Odegaard play through Martinelli. Prime example against Newcastle on Sunday. A lovely through ball behind with Martinelli playing as a centre forward, and even though he should score, the natural chemistry is there to be seen. We've seen it against Liverpool at the Emirates. These 2 have a natural bond, and now it's over to Mikel Arteta to find more and more ways to maximise it. Now let's talk about the expected points. As you can see here, in terms of actual points, Arsenal are going toe to toe with Man City, but in terms of the expected points, Arsenal remain the second best team, but quite a way behind. Now context is very important. In terms of expected points, recently Arsenal have slacked off, but also in terms of game states, the amount of times that Arsenal have been winning on XG, but in the second half they've taken their foot off the gas and allowed teams to stat pad. side. Even though in those games Arsenal are in control, it doesn't help in terms of expected points. It also shows Man City's level of consistency. These guys are machines, they don't stop, and they have a massive game this Sunday before Arsenal as they go to Goodison Park to play Everton. It's a game that Man City are definitely favourites in, but Everton are in decent form, having just beaten in-form Brighton 5-1 away from home. Sean Dyche's team is fighting for their lives. Every single point matters, and Everton do have one of those grounds where if the fans get going, they can produce something special. For Arsenal, our focus is all on our game, and that is Brighton at the Emirates Stadium. It's 2nd versus 7th, and Brighton have been in different form, having won 2 out of 5 games. Likewise with Arsenal, but they have won the last 2 in a row. What Brighton have with Roberto De Zerbi though is a dangerous tactical setup. We saw it against Arsenal at the Amex in the second half. These guys nearly pulled it back from 4-1, and in that game there was no McAllister, Moses Caicedo. This time they're available, and that's going to be game changers. And in terms of XG, they're only behind Liverpool, Arsenal and Man City. But in terms of availability, there will be a key absence, as wide forward Solly March looks to be unavailable, and likewise Joe Veltman. In the case of Arsenal, no Tomiyasu, no Saliba and no Zinchenko. Here's how I believe Mikel Arteta is going to line up. Ramsdale in goal, and a back four of Ben White, Kivior, Gabriel and Tierney. A midfield three of Jorginho, Odegaard and Xhaka. And a front three of Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Jesus and Bukayo Saka. Still no Thomas Partey or Leandro Trossard. Brighton have a lot of strong technical players. The likes of Matoma and Tisa thrive in between the lines, and that's where Arsenal are going to have to get their press on point. Brighton are a very strong team in the build-up. The likes of Caicedo are very calm under pressure. This game is at the Emirates Stadium and Arsenal are going to be the favourites. Brighton do have a chip on their shoulder, and having lost to Everton 5-1, their manager Roberto De Zerbi says, I think on Sunday versus Arsenal, we will show our quality and be back to our playing style. You will see the true Brighton. But what do you guys think going into the game? Who do you believe needs to start? And most importantly, what are your matchday predictions? But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Don't forget to smash a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy in all of his social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was all of today's latest Arsenal news, and as we approach a massive game against Brighton, it won't be easy, but if you're fighting for a title, it's never gonna be easy. So I'll see you next time, take care, and in a bit.